Hit it. This ain't no disco. And it ain't no country club either. This is LA.
Welcome everybody to Inside the Cardinal Playbook as we visit with Jill Kress and Larry Holly about William Jewell College basketball. Also this week it'll be Coach to Coach with Mark Gole coming up in a little bit. First, Jill Kress is here. Congratulations on your win against Wisconsin Parkside. You beat another really just outside the top 25 team, but a team that's been ranked and a very good team at Wisconsin Parkside Saturday.
Yeah, they are very good and traditionally very good. And, last year getting to the Sweet 16 and I think after the game, Coach Broad and I were talking. It was probably the most physical game I think we've played this year. It's just they're a very good team, very good at home, and so it was a really big win for us.
I think even more impressive, though, was coming off the Lewis game where you didn't shoot well. You were discouraged in a lot of areas. I know that. What made the difference in 36 hours?
I thought I hit it well that I was discouraged.
Usually you do. I have to give you that. But yeah, it was. I think everybody was discouraged.
Well, I think it was one of the reasons because we haven't shot well, for probably the past 3 games, and yet when you look at it, we're right there in all those games. Indianapolis was 17 points, but we were horrible shooting, and so to know that we could be in those games and to know what we're capable of, I think was discouraging. Then after the Lewis game, and Lewis really came after us, and I didn't think we responded well. But credit to our players, they didn't. They really stepped up, and one of the things we talked about before the game is all the positives that we were doing. When you look at how we ranked on some things nationally and in the conference, we're doing a lot of things well.
Let's talk about those things. What are those things?
Yeah, our assist to turnover ratio is in, I think, number 12 in the nation. We're actually, I was laughing, we're leading the conference in offensive rebounds, but when you miss as many shots as we had been, it's kind of one of those stats you got to kind of look at. But steals, we're top of the conference steals, and there's defensively, we were doing pretty well defensively also. So, all those little things, and then if you can just stay on it and get some of those baskets to drop for you, you're really in a position to win some games, and that's what we talked about before the game. And I think we hit some shots, and the confidence came. And in the second half, we hit 6 3-pointers, and that was huge for us. Well,
especially for your team that really makes its living on the full court pressure. You can't put the full court pressure on if you don't score, at least not most of the time, and so that's also a factor, I would think.
Yeah, we depend so much on our defense and pressing, and with Lewis game, they did such a great job of attacking our press, and I actually just left watching some film and seeing how we were rotating on that. But you have to make the baskets to be able to get set up in that, and and a lot of people know that our strength is not in a half-court game. I think defensively we do okay in the half-court. We just I don't like to slow the ball down. I don't think our players like to slow the ball down offensively, and for us to be able to run and get going, it's you just have to get the tempo, and you have to get the tempo defensively and offensively. Positive is that our players really didn't stop. They still played hard and still worked to get the score back to being presentable. It was it was 20 point. They were up 20 with 5 minutes left, and our kids kept battling and doing some things well. And then that's a big thing for me as a coach is I don't want them to ever stop or give up, and I don't think they did.
A 65-56 loss to Lewis. Caitlin Wood, 13 points and 9 rebounds, 5 block shots. In fact, 5 against Lewis, 5 more against Parkside. She continues to play very well.
Yeah, the block shots, when you look at her size, she's not taller than a lot of people. She's about 5'11", 6 foot at the stretch. And her timing, again, she understands the game so well, and her timing with people shooting is just very good. And so she gets some of those block shots. And typically when you look at her, you're not going to think that she's our big shot blocker. But she is playing really well, and one of the really good things about her game is that when you look at her shots and her scoring, she's not really taking poor shots. She's taking what she gets, and sometimes when you have players that are scoring a lot of times that's what they're really looking at. But she's a great passer, and she finds the open person, and I think probably in assist-wise she's up there too.
Right. Well, it was a tough loss at Lewis, as we said, but you had a day to practice, and then you come out and play great against Parkside. Let's talk a little bit about what happened at practice on Friday. You said you focused on shooting. I can imagine that's true. Yeah. But anything unusual to turn it around?
No, we just talked about competing, and again, I don't dwell on things. I think sometimes you can overthink it.
Yeah.
And that's what I told our players. I've got a lot of confidence in our kids, and until I tell them to quit shooting, I want them to shoot. Especially, you look at Jess Wheeler, who's really been struggling. Right. But I told her, end of the game, she's a kid I have a ton of confidence in to have the ball in her hands and shoot the game winner. And she came back and really played well and shot well against Parkside.
Let's talk about her, because it had been an interesting 3-game stretch for her, but she came out here her first couple shots on Saturday. Yeah,
and I was kind of disappointed in the Lewis game. I thought she passed up some shots, but again, she's also somebody that's fighting an injury with her knee, and our trainers are doing a great job with that, and really not sure what's wrong with it, whether it's fluid or something, slight tear in meniscus or something. But she's somebody that never has any excuses and works hard, and she does so many good things for us defensively. But she is a shooter, and she is one of our best 3-point shooters. And really, you don't want to say slump, but she was struggling a little bit, and I think she started kind of overthinking it a little. And I think she hit some early with Parkside, and maybe got some confidence, and did a really great job for us. And her offense, I always think, will come, and then again, it was nice to see her get that. But she's she came off the bench, started the second half for us. She comes off the bench really for us because she can score and just bring some scoring and some energy off the bench. And doesn't start, but in my mind, she's a starter for us.
For Jess, 17, another 18 for Caitlin Wood, and we talked about the 5 blocks, but who else played well over the weekend for you?
It was kind of interesting. I talked to Coach Broughton, again, our assistant coach, and we talk a lot after the game. I really, and both he and I agreed, our whole team really played well. I thought, Tasia only played about 12 minutes, but she was really key in there. She battled. I think she matched them up strength-wise and could get some rebounds there for us. I thought Kelsey Nickerson came in, and maybe when you look at the stats, they didn't do a whole lot. But when you were at the game, they really played well, especially some of those young kids, to go into a game like that was so physical and again at their place, and to be able to respond well was good to see.
You brought up Nickerson, and I think Kelsey's an interesting story because again, you look at the box score and it doesn't tell about what kind of, at least to me, what kind of competitor she is. She really goes out and plays hard.
Yeah, she does, and she's really quiet, on the court and off the court, but you look at her shoot, she's so consistent shooter. She's someone that we want to keep getting in there and getting some confidence. And I really have seen a big change from after Christmas break. She was pretty timid the first half. I think now she's kind of looking at her shot, playing a little more aggressively defensively, and that was probably the one shortcoming of her game, was just defensively. And I think part of it is that she started thinking that she couldn't play defense the way I want her to, and but she can, and she's starting to kind of learn what kind of effort that it takes, and she's going to be a good one down the road.
You're done with the East now, 2-2.
Yeah.
Are you ready for the West?
It's going to be tough, especially to start off with Maryville. They're, they won it last year in the end of the season conference tournament. Very good team, very good coach. And we're watching video right now, and it'll be tough. But again, we talked about the conference, the Great Lakes Valley. There's really no game, no team that you can look by, and. Even when you look at the teams that are in the bottom, in our conference right now on our side, they've played everybody close, and so you just really have to be really well prepared. Hope your players are ready to go, and know that every game is going to be a battle.
Maryville is Thursday night here at the Mabee Center, and then Saturday afternoon against UMSL, and then finally Monday afternoon against Rockhurst. So it's 3 games in 6 days, but all at home. That's a good thing, and looking forward to that.
All right, thanks, Rick.
Jill Kress has been our guest on Inside the Cardinal Playbook, brought to you by the UPS store, 5510 Northeast Antioch in North Kansas City. We're back next with Larry Holly as Inside the Cardinal Playbook continues.
So, I'm my own man. I can work from home. I can make meetings, I can make deadlines, I can make proposals, I can remember birthdays, I can entertain clients, I can pay for lunch. Yeah, I can do it 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 3:15, I can do anything. Done, on it, yes, taken care of. 50 two-sided bound color presentations by tomorrow, I can do that. How do I do that? I love logistics.
Sometimes happy marriages fall apart, and divorce is the only way out. At a time like this, you need an attorney who will listen to you and will work for you. I'm Stephanie Shutt, and I understand that divorce can be hard for anyone, and I know the importance of a fair settlement. The decisions that are made now will affect the future happiness and well-being of you and your family. At Costello and Farah, we will fight for you. Call or visit 505-HELP and let me help you.
Inside the Cardinal Playbook resumes with Larry Holly in our next section. The Inside the Cardinal Playbook show brought to you by the UPS store, 5510 Northeast Antioch in North Kansas City. Larry, welcome, and it was an eventful trip for the Cardinals with the win at Lewis, your first bus win in the conference. I want you to explain that, and then a very good Wisconsin Parkside team on Saturday. A split with the win at Lewis, loss at Parkside. Let's talk about that bus win.
Yeah, it was interesting. We go to Lewis. We play probably, if not our best, one of our best all-around games, and made plays down the stretch. We had guys step up, make free throws, get key rebounds, handle the ball, all the things you need to do at the end of the game. Lewis is a good team, especially tough to win on the road in any league, but the GLVC especially. I realized after the game, as I'm riding on the bus from Romeoville, Illinois to Kenosha, Wisconsin, that's the first bus ride in the GLVC where we actually are coming off of a win. Last year, we didn't do very well in the league. I think we went 5-13, something like that. Had one road win, but we went in vans to Rockhurst. Yeah. So in terms of a bus, we were 0-8 last year, and right now we're 1-1. So now it was fun. Lewis is a very good team. Again, really proud of the team effort. Parkside, we just came up short offensively. I think we made enough stops to win the game. We just really struggled to score. They're a big physical team, and they were effective against our bigs inside. But happy with the trip, and certainly we'd love to have been 2-0, but really excited to have gotten after a really good Lewis team.
Well, let's talk about Lewis first, because I wish I had $1 for every time the Parkside people told me, boy, Lewis is a really tough place to play, and how did you do it at Lewis? And how'd you do it at Lewis?
Well, as I said earlier, everybody really did step up. I thought the attitude during the walkthrough was really good, and the guys seemed to be ready. None of these places right now have shown a real home court advantage. I don't know if it's just simply because there's no students there, or
right.
That's what they normally draw. But neither the Lewis game or the Parkside game was there much of a home floor advantage. But our guys kind of had a bunker mentality. It's us against the world. I'm not always very happy with the officiating, but we made plays down the stretch. Particularly want to mention Devontae Bell, who
right.
went 4 for 4 down the stretch from the free throw line, and it was crucial for us because it was difficult to get to a 4 or 5 point lead. It seemed like it was going to be 2 or 3 point lead, and then a field goal or a 3 would tie or put Lewis in the lead. But they're well coached. Lewis didn't shoot it particularly well from 3. I don't know if we caught them on a bad night or if our defense was that good, or it was a combination of the two. But we had good balance in there in terms of scoring. Just made plays when we needed to make plays.
You got their young post into foul trouble early. He sat through most of the first half. Dylan Deck had no fouls in the first half, yet ended up fouling out, and it was kind of a strange set of halves in that regard.
It was. Dylan's gonna, the whistle's gonna find him defensively. He needs to, probably needs to get a little stronger. He needs to put some weight on. Everybody's the scouting report is get real physical with William Jewell. Pound on them, and if the officials let them do that, then that can be effective. But it was unusual for him to have no fouls in the first half, and then to immediately get in foul trouble in the second half. But most teams are going to go right at him with their offense, and they're just going to try to rough him up with their defense. And they're trying to do the same with Dwight as well. And the scouting report's going to begin with our point guard and with our post player. And our other players are very effective players, but that's going to be the focal point, and they're going to try to get real physical and try to get both of them in foul trouble.
I want to talk about Dwight here in just a moment, but first, 17 points from Ricky Tisdale, and several of those came from the free throw line late as well. But a guy coming off the bench, Cyril Belong, had, you said it at the time, maybe his best game.
Well, in terms of Ricky's play, I thought the first half against Lewis was the best half of basketball that he's played all year, and he certainly, we're trying to get him going. He was an outstanding player the last 2 years at Motlow State, and he struggled a little bit, partly because he's been playing point guard at Motlow, and now he's playing the 2, so he doesn't have the ball in his hands as much. But that was encouraging. In terms of Cyril, Cyril can defend, and his challenge throughout the year, actually both years he's been here, has been at the offensive end. But he came in and did a great job defensively against one of their key players at Lewis, and also on Saturday against Parkside. So I do want to compliment him. He hit 2 big threes in that second half that were crucial to us being able to hold Lewis off.
Let's talk about Dwight Sistrunk, because he ends up playing 35 minutes on Thursday night, comes back and plays another 35, I think it was, against Parkside. Is that about right for him, or would you like to give him some more time off if you could?
I'd like to give him a little time off, but again, he's going to step up and play. When you do that, you probably there needs to be a time where he rests a little bit, and you don't really want him to rest at the defensive end, because you're trying to make stops, and it's difficult for him to rest at the offensive end because he's the guy, he's the playmaker. He's bringing it up against pressure. He's initiating the offense, and sometimes at the end of the clock, he's initiating the offense. So he has the ball in his hands a lot. We tried to free him up a little bit Thursday. I think we got the ball out of his hand. Not that we want the ball all the time out of his hands, but we need to do that a little more than we have been. And I thought that was one of the reasons we were probably very effective against Lewis. But Dwight's having a very good freshman year, and especially he had a nice game against Parkside.
Is there a burnout factor for Dwight or any freshman in their first year of college ball to play that many minutes that soon in the season?
You know, I don't know. The guys coming into programs now have played so much AAU basketball where they're going to play at least 2 games a day and sometimes 3. So, you know, they probably have to find a time to conserve their energy. I thought the game that was really difficult for him was a week ago against St. Joseph's, because he had played so many minutes against Indianapolis, and I thought that recovery period was challenging for him. But again, people are going to come after him, try to get physical with him. He's got a pretty good motor. Probably do need to rest him a little bit more than we are, but if he's playing well, we're certainly more effective when he's on the floor.
Cardinals win the game at Lewis 73-69, then travel to Wisconsin Parkside, and as you said, big and physical. They came in 3-0 in the GLVC, first place in the East. We were first place in the West at 2-1 at that point. So it was an interesting matchup of teams East and West that led their respective divisions.
Well, especially since neither of us were picked, I don't even think, in the top 4, you know, in preseason. But I mean, it's early, but it was kind of neat to, you know, open up the GLVC website, and there's William Jewell in first place by themselves. So we take advantage of that and let people know about it. And you know, I think we are competitive. Every night's going to be a challenge. Certainly, what we have coming in this week is going to be a challenge to us. But Parkside had a young man who was player of the week the week before. Parkside goes to Drury and wins, and Drury is very, very good this year, and it's a very tough place to go on the road and win. So they're a good team. They're big and physical. Had a big 6'10" kid. He was a taller version of Nick Larson.
Yes, he was.
And he gave us all he wanted, and certainly was very physical against our bigs. We got in foul trouble in the first half. We're sitting down there with Dylan with 2 fouls, and John Taylor with 2 fouls, and Cyril with 2 fouls. But I want to compliment both Nate Croker and Clint McCullough. They came off the bench and did an outstanding job in terms of defense and rebounding. They don't have the capacity right now to score like those other guys, but they certainly gave us a lift off the bench, as did everyone that played this past week.
This weekend starts a 3-game series at home, starting with Maryville on Thursday night, UMSL on Saturday afternoon, and then Rockhurst on Monday afternoon, Martin Luther King Jr. Day. It got to be good to be home now with those 3 games coming up.
It is. A lot of teams don't have that Monday game. You have the opportunity to move your partner scheduled games, at least one of them, into first semester if you'd like. Rockhurst and us decided not to do that. So you know, we'll see what it's like. We did this a lot in the Heart of America Athletic Conference. We play 3 games in 5 days, but that will be a challenge. The good news is they're all at home, so there's not any travel involved. Rockhurst has the same thing. They have home games Thursday and Saturday. They do have a 30-minute trip over here to play us Monday afternoon. So we'll see how that goes. Of course, our emphasis is going to be on Maryville on Thursday, and then we'll worry about UMSL on Saturday, and we'll worry about Rockhurst on Monday. But it is nice to be back home. We're still without students.
Yeah.
So those folks listening out there, bring your cousins and aunts and uncles and all your friends, and come on and help us out Thursday night and Saturday afternoon and Monday afternoon.
Maryville Thursday night, UMSL Saturday afternoon, and Rockhurst on Monday afternoon at the Mabee Center. Thanks, Larry Holly, for your time here. And Larry's going to be back in a minute with our Coach to Coach segment. He'll be visiting with Mark Gole, the swim coach at William Jewell College, on Inside the Cardinal Playbook.
I'm going to change the world. I've got computers, I've got financing, I've got clients. I've got a business plan. I have VC money. I've got a game-changing idea. I've given myself room to grow. We're dangerous. Very dangerous. This is only the beginning. I'm going to own the future. There's just one problem. I don't know how to print this.
Professional printing.
Help?
And everything else a small business needs, now at the UPS store.
I love logistics.
Hi, this is Kurt McCoy, owner, Shop Local 365KC. Local business owners, get your free premium listing with us today. Celebrating our grand relaunch with 6 months free premium business listing services. Get involved. Submit to us your favorite business, organization, or event, and we'll promote them for free today. Contact us today at www.shoplocal365kc.com.
We're back on Inside the Cardinal Playbook. It's time for Coach to Coach. Larry Holly is visiting with swim coach Mark Gole. Coach Holly?
Well, Coach, congratulations. Second year here with our program, doing a great job. Tell us a little bit about the meet at Indy.
Going against two teams at Indianapolis, we had the University of Indianapolis, who's currently ranked in the top 10 in the country in Division II for both their men's and women's program. We knew it was going to be tough going against them, and then we had Bellarmine there with them. We did as well as we could have against Indy. We actually had four event wins overall in that meet, and then our men and women both beat Bellarmine, and it was a pretty big day because it was officially our first win for the women's program since the program's reinstatement.
Congratulations. When I went to school here a couple of centuries ago, we had swimming, and I had a lot of fraternity brothers that were swimmers, and I thought they were pretty good, but I think the very first meet you had, or second meet, you broke almost all their records, so I'm going to have to get on my old fraternity brothers. But I have watched you in your early morning workouts, watched you some in your afternoon workouts. What you do in swimming is a little bit different in terms of preparing for the end of the year. Obviously we let up because we have games. You train through a lot of your meets. Would you talk to the folks a little bit about how you do that and your theory and technique behind that?
Well, I guess there are two schools of thought, and some programs actually do mimic what a basketball program or a soccer team or a football team would do, as far as backing down and preparing for every single meet. But when you do that in swimming, you take a day or two away from the training that you could put into for that one peak performance at the end of the year. And really we have 24 weeks from our first day of practice until our conference championship, which is coming up February 7th through the 10th. And it's been in my experience to put as much work as you possibly can in to that end of the year, so that your rest and your peak at the end of the year is as good as you possibly can imagine.
And that way it's a little bit like cross country and track, especially for the distance runners, I would imagine.
Very much so. And there have been times where we did back off just a touch, just to kind of see where we're at. We don't want them to swim tired all year long, or they're going to get a little frustrated. But we had a phenomenal meet at Grinnell after backing off a couple days, and we pretty much trained through our last meet. This last weekend, it was a big test for them to see how fast they could swim tired, and a couple people stepped it up big time, but the majority of them were hurting quite a bit.
You've obviously done this for a while, winning national championships at Truman with this method. Congratulate you again on how quickly you built this program. It's amazing to me as a college coach to see how you've gotten some current students to be involved in swimming, with the success you've had with your recruiting the last 2 years as well. So where are we numbers-wise on the men's and women's side, and what's your eventual goal in terms of numbers for the program?
Well, first of all, I appreciate the congratulations. I hope to have as much longevity in coaching as you do. But right now we're sitting at 10 girls and 14 guys. Really hope to have a program up to around 50 swimmers total. If we can be 25 and 25 men and women, that would be ideal. But I believe if we're at like 23 women or 23 guys and 27 of the other, I'd be very happy with that. Very happy that next year will be the very first ever season for swimming in the GLVC.
That is exciting. Years ago, when the GLVC approached us about joining the league and approached Truman State at the same time, Truman State, I think, turned it down at the time because they didn't have football as a conference sport, and we just weren't ready to make the move at that time. But it's great to see a conference opportunity for you. It's kind of tough to go into a league where they don't have that. And again, congratulations to you. Tell us what's coming up as far as your schedule.
Well, we have one more dual meet. We have St. Louis University at St. Louis University, so kind of a mid-major Division I program. It should be a very big test for both teams, but hopefully a couple of our individuals will be able to make a run at winning an event or two. And then 2.5 weeks after that, we have our conference championship. We're very fortunate to be able to join a conference this school year. The Northern Sun Intercollegiate Conference allowed us to be an affiliate member for the men's and women's side. So it's going to be a good test. All D2 schools. There's 7 women's teams and 4 men's teams that will be competing the 7th through the 10th of February.
Well, congratulations again on the job you're doing, and your student athletes continue to progress. Again, I've watched you in your early morning workouts, and looks like you're doing all the right things, and they're getting better, and we certainly wish you every success at the end of the year.
I appreciate it, Larry. Good luck to your men's team as well.
Thank you.
And that is Coach to Coach inside the Cardinal Playbook with Larry Holly and Mark Gole. And we're back with the final word in just a moment.
What's my motto? Play to win. What's the key? Logistics. Takes planning. Everybody on the same page. Check this out. This is my playbook. Serious business. Right player, right place, right time. Did it at the UPS store. Bam! High five. Color, pictures, charts, graphics. Nice, huh? I love logistics.
It says in the book we should play as a team.
Professional color printing. Now at the UPS store.
My name is Jesse Limeculer, CEO of Belvoir Winery. The goal of the winery is to serve Liberty as best we can, to make it a destination for people to come to Liberty. There's a lot to see as far as the history goes, from the Odd Fellows to the other buildings that are available on the property. And then also it's a business in the sense we do a lot of events, baby showers, wedding showers, anniversaries, birthdays, and weddings. We're open 7 days a week, 11 to 4 Monday through Wednesday, 11 to 8 Thursday through Saturday, and 12 to 6 on Sunday. Belvoir Winery, 110 years in the making.
And that's inside the Cardinal Playbook for this week. We thank Larry Holly, Jill Kress, and Mark Gole for visiting with us. Next week we'll have more inside the Cardinal Playbook after the games against Maryville, UMSL, and then Monday against Rockhurst University. We'll see you next time on Inside the Cardinal Playbook, brought to you by the UPS Store, 5510 Northeast Antioch in North Kansas City.